Hello, this is a video to take you through some of the features within the account section, namely the ones to record your income coming in and your expenditure going out. Now you will find these within the yellow accounts button, and they are down here, items 63, 64 and 64. Now first of all, if I show you the monies coming in, now this logs quite nicely all of the income that you get from the children in your setting. So if I do a new one, so say I'm doing this for the month of June, so I put the period of June up there, and then as and when the children's money comes in, what you could do is you could track and put the amount of that their fees would come to, and then you can put their name, or you can use the drop down box to get the child's name. Another way of doing it is to track the money coming in, and then to put about a childcare voucher. It may be that you've had the email acknowledgement of the childcare voucher, so it's pending. You may just write the note down there, and then when it's actually cleared, then you can remove this. So you can put the different payments through here. And then the money that makes it up to the full amount. So you could do this to track all of the monies, and then you can see from the overview here, calculate it up yourself, and then see what, if any, outstanding. Once you've paid, put all the income for that month. May even be that middle of the month you have your government funding. So the text, this box here, although you've got some things in the drop down menu, you can still override it by typing on top. And then once you've got everything for the month, you click save, and then the next month you can go to a fresh sheet and put the next month. Okay, now if you save this, you can see by the go to box that these are all the different reports that you have done. So over the course of a year, obviously you have 12 in there. So what you can do here, if I just go to one that I've done already, if I go to this button to print the form, now this is just the page that you're on. So this is for the month of May. If you were to go to this one for the month, this is where you have the option to enter the period. So you enter the date from, and then to, and this will give you the year of the income that you've had. Now you can see on here it prints the dates that the money's went into your account, the amount of money, and the child or other where it came from, as well as your notes that you put alongside it. And then at the bottom it has calculated and added all of those up for you. So over the period of the financial tax year, you could potentially have this to either PDF and send to your accountant, or if you're doing it yourself, you could either print it to have the evidence there, or just PDF it and have it on your folder. Now on this one you can also print by child, and again it would go through a period. Now this one could be beneficial for those parents who claim tax credits, and sometimes they get to a point where they have to evidence how much they've had or how much their childcare has been. Now this is something you can do. If there's a period, it may be the same financial tax year. And then this one separates it into the different things that you've put in this box here. So it sorts it into categories. So here within that tax year, you can see from the top for this period, you've had these two payments from this child's parents and also what it totals. And then things that you've put other, so these have been other incomes that you've had throughout the year. And then you've got these ones which are for these two children. So if you were to need to evidence the fees that you've paid, rather than sifting through 12 months worth of invoices, you could just use this one and it gives a snapshot of it. And there we go. You have now got the monies out. Now this one is linked quite closely to their HMRC. So for this one, if I start with a new one again and put in the month for June. So this one is one of these boxes that you have to enter the date first in order for the information to be kept. So once the data is entered, you can start putting in your dates and your amount. So you can put the amount, the receipt details of what it might show up on the receipt with. The category, these are already programmed in here. So for this one it was travel, so we can just put that by travel. If there are different things, I know with my accountant what they like to do is if there's goods bought for resale, if you can buy it again or it's a capital item, she likes to know which ones are that. So for having that tick box there, it's quite nice to itemise things. You can also put for a note section if there's any additional information to go with the cost. So if it's quite a large expense, you may want to back it up or give a bit more information as to why you're purchasing it. Such as that. And then when you save, again it's got the go to box, which has got all of your ones from previous months. The form, as in the other one, brings you this one that's open, so it's the month, the period of the 1st to the 30th of the 6th that you can see there. And again, it's brought in all of your information, the date, the amount, the receipt details, as well as your notes. You have got the month, which is your period. There we go. And so this has got November and December's, because if you see from this drop down box, the 6th and the 5th are outside of the period that I just put in. So there's only 2 months that we've put within this time frame. And you can see that it's got all the information in there, as well as the total expenditure for this period. You have also got the HMRC one. Now you'll see from this one, if you do it again and enter, so for this one you can see that it divides it into categories. So if I go to May, which has got a few more in there, you can say that the category, depending on which drop down box you used in this one, that's how it orders it in here, and then it's got the total for May there as well. Okay. Now the print buttons that you've got here to show the food. If you're like us and one of the biggest outgoings that you've got each month is actually the food that you provide for the childcare children. What you can do here is, some of you may find a food option in the drop down menu. If not, what you need to do is right click and edit list items, and then you're able to add more things into the drop down box here. So another one that you might want to do in there is training. I don't think training is in there either. And then all you do is, once you've put in an entry and had it selected to food, if I just do another one just to show you. And save that. Now if I go to the food here and put in the period, and you'll see here, so this will be able to accumulate all the different foods that you do. So it may be the case that when you're spending, that you may be doing a few shops throughout the week, throughout the month, and you just want to add up how much you've actually spent on food. That will do that here. Yeah. Now the allowable expenses calculator, which is number 63, brings up this, and if I put it on a new one, the first thing you need to do is save to a date, just to show you. So the household expenses, which is this section up at the top, is automatic, and these percentages, depending on how many hours you work, have been taken from the HMRC website. So all you would need to do up here is tick the box that applies to the number of hours that you work. So down here is where you would put your rate, so your current expenses. Now if you were to do this for a month, that you want the total per month, then you put the heat and lighting cost for a month. Same as your water rates, your council tax, your rent, and the wear and tear. And what this would do is calculate down here, so this would be your monthly expense that you could then put into your monies out. So if it's the same each month, you can just put it on here. You can see there 32605. So here, and then to click on here, and then you save it in there. And then up here you have got your mileage. So for this one, you can put the percent 45p per mile that you do. And down here, if you're doing it for the month, you've worked out your allowable expenses for the month, and you can then do your mileage on the different places that you go to. So it might be that you've got school runs to go to, trips to the farm, other outings, that if you just record the number of miles that you've got here, you can see at the bottom that also adds it all up for you. To do a new one, so if you're doing it each month, you could do it, or you could wait and that previous one could be the same, so that's the same amount each month. And then once you have any changes with your utilities, your rent, your council tax, then at that point you may want to do a new one. So say in August it's going to change, and that's when you would do another one, or even if your the hours that you work are going to increase. So you can put the costs in again. If anything's different, if you've got council tax going up, or it might be that if you average it over the year, you have that month that you don't pay it, so you might want to work it out where you don't have the council tax bill to know what your expenses are going to be. And then again you calculate it and it will give you your cost to put into your database. Another method that you can do is to put it in for a year. So you can put in all your expenses for the year, and then in turn that will give you the allowable expenses for the year. So once you've done all of your monies in, all of your monies out, and you've got your overall, you can then put the expense for the year against your expenses as well for the additional cost. But this is for you. You can kind of like change it, you know, have a play with it, but it's very good, it's very helpful that it takes that worry that you're missing something or charging too much or not enough really well by calculating it automatically.